In the 1990s, Pierce Brosnan was playing Britain's favorite spy on the big screen, the one and only James Bond. While he would hit it big with his first feature, GoldenEye, the movies slowly decreased in quality until it reached a franchise low with Die Another Day, which is considered by many Bond fans to be one of, if not the worst film in the entire franchise, forcing a franchise reboot 4 years later with Daniel Craig in the lead role. The film would be the first proper adaptation of Casino Royale, the first ever Bond novel by Ian Fleming, as the only other adaptations were an episode of the CBS series Climax in 1954 and a film in name only in 1967. However, famed director Quentin Tarantino actually had an idea for Casino Royale a couple of years before the Craig version hit theaters. In 2004, Tarantino stated that what he wanted to do was essentially take the series back to its roots and make it a period piece, and adapt the book note for note. He claimed he talked with Pierce Brosnan, who liked the idea, even though his contract was only for 4 films, and fulfilled that with Die Another Day, and stepped down that year. I've always wanted to do it. I bumped into Pierce Brosnan, and we talked about it. He liked the idea. I would like to do the original book, Casino Royale, and do it more or less the way Ian Fleming's book is. I don't know if they're going to go for it or not, but I'm letting them know I'm interested. There was also a report that Uma Thurman was who Tarantino had in mind for the Bond girl, but I couldn't find anything to back this up, and was probably only stated because he worked with her on Kill Bill recently at that point. As I stated, the film would be made without him, with GoldenEye director Martin Campbell at the helm, and Daniel Craig being chosen as our Bond, with Eva Green as Vesper Lynd. However, last year, in an interview with Deadline, Tarantino did explain further about his history with the franchise. He stated that he wanted to do this idea after Pulp Fiction, which was around the time the first Brosnan feature was in pre-production and was about to start filming. He reached out to the Fleming estate, stating his idea on what he wanted to do with the franchise. We reached out to the Ian Fleming people, and they had suggested that they still own the rights to Casino Royale, and that's what I wanted to do after Pulp Fiction, was do my version of Casino Royale, and it would have taken place in the 60s and wasn't about a series of Bond movies. We would have cast an actor and be one and done, so I thought we could do this. He then further explained that the Broccolis pretty much put the kibosh on this, invoking their right to the movie franchise, and they made a deal with the Fleming estate on owning pretty much all of his works, so that filmmakers like Tarantino couldn't come in and make their own version of Bond. But then it turned out that the Broccolis 3 years earlier figured out somebody was going to try to do what I did, and so what they did is they just made a blanket deal with the Fleming estate and said that we have the movie rights to everything he's ever written, we're going to just give you a bunch of money, this is for every single thing he's ever written, if anybody wants to make a movie out of it, they gotta come to us. Like every short story, every travel book, if I wanted to make a movie of thrilling cities, I need to go to the Broccolis. That's for everything he wrote, to stop somebody from being a wise guy and trying to do what I did. So that was essentially the nail in the coffin on Tarantino's Casino Royale. It was never anything outside of an idea, and he has no interest in the franchise. He wants to make his final feature and be done with it all. But a little side note, he did bring up another interesting idea, which was before Eon became a thing. Apparently the reason that Eon didn't have the rights was because Harry Saltzman had the rights. Howard Hawks was going to make a Casino Royale adaptation in the 50s with Cary Grant as Bond, which certainly would have made an interesting film. But that's all I have for you now. See you later.